What's wrong? I am
Z-Boy.
What's up, Light Peer and man? How you doing, y'all? So yeah, I'm here today with Vulture and Vallen. Got my Naruto shirt. Team Jiraiya. So yeah, we're about to hear talk today of who's the better sensei. Because a lot of times when people do verses of dangs, it's always about who is more powerful. And I like going into detail about characters. So I'm trying to figure out, maybe not exactly who wins, but just to go over it, like discussing the two characters. They're both two great characters, by the way, but yeah. So who wants to start off?
I would just like to start by saying I'm not here to pick any particular side, no matter who joins or how many. I'm here to keep the conversation respectful to both parties because these are great men, and I finna have people talking sideways about either one of them.
Makes sense.
So, whatever side you got, you can have your point, but just be respectful, or else I'm gonna have to come in and start laying some stuff down.
One could be a better sensei, but I don't think it's by much. It's not like leagues above the other. You know what I'm saying? They're both crazy people.
Like I was saying before, these are both great men.
I agree. So who would your pick be? Like, who are you leaning towards more?
If for me personally, if I had to pick one or the other, I would pick Iroh because, it's actually by a large margin, and it's because there's two different again, that's a personal thing for me as a person. I don't have the need to become stronger. I have the need to how to use my strength properly. You know what I mean? And there's a difference in how they approach. I was telling Z-Boy earlier, Iroh's about getting you stronger for life, as opposed to Jiraiya getting you stronger for battle. You know what I mean? And not that life isn't a battle; it's just a different thing.
But the life kind of was.
I know. I mean, I'm saying it's also a very different world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. And that's represented in these senseis because these are the pinnacle senseis of their worlds. You know what I mean? There's Iroh and there's Jiraiya. That's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah. And
Naruto's just such a battle-heavy, combat-oriented space as opposed to Airbender, which has its intense battles, but it's also a very deep and like intellectually and spiritually deep show, so it kind of delves more into the internal growth of a person. You know what I mean? Because if honestly, go on.
I mean, the thing is, right, about Jiraiya. I mean, he did kind of help with Naruto find out his ninja way, like the whole thing with Pain and how he wants to basically save the Shinobi world, and so yeah, he did teach Naruto in that sense. He definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel
like. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was saying that for being a sensei, a lot of it is who your students are. There are a lot of good senseis sometimes, but if you don't have a superstar pupil, you won't get kind of skyrocketed to where these two have been. Like Jiraiya taught Naruto, the main character of the show, and Iroh taught the main antagonist for the show, who later turned to be one of the greatest redemption stories we've seen in anime. So it's like
period.
It's like Iroh had a tougher road, and he not only did he change Zuko or help or be very instrumental in it, but he changed himself in jail. He had that self-betterment moment where he just got swole.
Oh yeah, he's super swole.
So he not only changed his person, he not only talked the talk, but he walked the walk. He became a better person for a purpose, just like he told Zuko to be. So it's just crazy, he internalized everything he taught Zuko. And it's,
exactly. And I think
that's why I give it to Iroh too.
Yeah. And again, for me, the wide margin is just the way Iroh approaches being a teacher. I don't think, and this is maybe just me being sideways, but I don't think Jiraiya's methods would have been as successful with Sasuke. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like I was saying. Like he taught the worst of the worst. Like Zuko was a bad dude for a minute. Like,
he was a spoiled prince, who came up with everything he wanted, and then had it turned off, and he had a chip on his shoulder still. So it was just like in that really bad mental and emotional space on every level. And Iroh, you got to like, if you watch it, you get to watch Iroh just guide him along this path to like self-redemption and shit. And it's fucking beautiful. But you don't get that kind of interaction with Naruto.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Like Zebo was saying the other day when we was recording a video with Sabo, he was saying that Iroh, along with like Vegeta, had a realistic like set of time where their pupils or themselves took a while. Like Zuko didn't straight up turn to a good guy. Like it took years.
It wasn't no jutsu. Yeah, it was slowly over the story, because when you think about it in real life for real people, you don't just change in like 2 seconds or someone gives you a speech. It takes a long time to change, and yeah, that's what made Vegeta great too. Because it's like, it took him years to change, because he started off as just a douchebag, and so it doesn't just happen overnight. He had to learn, he had to grow, he had to learn a completely different mindset than what he had. But what you were saying about Sasuke, I don't think Iroh would have been able to redeem Sasuke, because I would say Sasuke is way more darker than Zuko ever was.
Was he?
I don't know if Iroh would have been.
Like Sasuke definitely would beat him, but not by a big margin. Like they both had deep problems.
No, he means like darker in the sense that his life was harder. But I would argue it's the same but different. One had their
because
his family got killed and all that jazz, right? That's what you're talking about.
No, how he was, like his actions, like he was a darker character than Zuko. Zuko never was evil. He just was selfish and stubborn. He worked for the bad side, but he never was evil. Sasuke,
well, I mean, he never got to show it as much, because Avatar wasn't about as much killing and battle as Naruto was. So now Sasuke, for the position he was in, to take him seriously, he had to drop a couple people, you know what I'm saying, and actually be about their life, trying to kill people, taking on 5 Kages at once. Zuko was kind of like Aang's guy, so it's like, and it was more of a kid. It was more of a kid's show, I'd say, than Naruto, in a sense. Like it was for a younger audience. So,
but even episode 1, right? Where Aang was like, "I'll give myself up if you just if you just leave this village alone," and he didn't kill the village. So that's what I'm saying. I think Sasuke probably would have killed that village, even after somebody gave himself up.
I don't think so. I would not bet on.
No, see, remember, even whatchamacallit, Orochimaru mentioned that Sasuke still had a soft spot, because remember, even in that 100 battle, he left him alive, just didn't murder them all. Sasuke wasn't the murderer until Obito got involved with him. You know what I mean? And that's when he kind of turned that anger and angst up to like 11, and then the shit got really crazy. But
he didn't enjoy killing.
About
everything he had to do.
I feel a better comparison would be like pre-time skip Sasuke to Zuko. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Like they both were just broody and brooding all the time.
Yeah, and their tragedies are close. Both had their families ripped away, but one had it through death, and the other had it through like an honor fight. So they were alive and still couldn't like interact. One was final, but one had a more lingering emotional damage.
Yeah, it was like it was a constant reminder of how his family didn't purposefully accept him. Like
exactly.
Sasuke didn't have a choice. He would never get a redemption. But Sasuke had that hope, like maybe not Sasuke, but Zuko had the hope, like maybe one day he'll like me. And then he's years just wondering,
And that drive to be loved by his family is what like perverted his intent. You know what I mean? Like, not really perverted his intent. His intent was pure. I have to do something great to get the love of my father. It's a very base psychological thing, and like in all children and their fathers. You know what I mean? I assume.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But with Sasuke, he didn't have that at all. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't know that his father as a ninja. He knew his brother more as a ninja than he knew his father as a ninja.
True.
So that's why he latched on to that memory. And, of course, you know, the mind fuckery of Itachi and all that jazz. But still, Zuko... yeah, I think to say that Sasuke was harder to teach than Zuko is pushing it. I think they're the same, just different. But I still think Jiraiya wouldn't have worked on Sasuke, but Iroh would have worked on either, because Iroh had a softer hand. He had a more understanding approach, especially because, you know, he lost his son, so he treats everybody with that like same compassion that he would treat his son with. You know what I mean? And that's one of the more amazing things about him, is the level of compassion, understanding, and emotional depth, as opposed to, you know, Jiraiya, who is, you know, he has all that, but just not as deep. You know what I mean? It just isn't. It's not an insult. It's just a fact.
I think at times, though, Iroh maybe should have had less compassion, because that one time when he had really got on Zuko about, you know, that great speech when he was like, "This is your destiny." Not exactly "this is your destiny," but he was telling them you need to decide your own destiny. That's what really got through to Zuko, and I feel like that's something Jiraiya would do more, because like with Sasuke, like I'm not sure if just kind words, like, because like Sasuke kind of redeemed himself, or went to the good side again, because Naruto basically kind of fought him too. It wasn't just kind words weren't enough. So I feel like sometimes as a mentor or something, you have to know how to be like, have like a tougher hand, which I feel like Jiraiya could do more.
Maybe, but if I remember correctly, Iroh put Zuko down a couple of times when he was getting out of hand. If I remember, towards before the tea shop, so before Ba Sing Se, yeah, I want to say towards the beginning when he was starting to do a lot of collateral damage and he wasn't as focused. Like, Iroh had to like just shut down his fire, not like, you know, what the fuck is it? Like energy bending, but he just kind of diverted all of his fire stuff. Was like, Zuko, be careful. You know what I mean? Like, there's more than just your target. But I could be thinking of something different.
No, he didn't really do that. But I mean, Iroh's definitely he's definitely a great mentor. But I feel like, okay, this is Star Wars. Shout out Soul. But you know, Obi-Wan, they always call it the Obi-Wan, like when the mentor dies.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Jiraiya, he just had such a great scene of that, like his impact of what his death was for Naruto and his character, you know, which is why so many people think it should have ended during the Pain arc.
Oh yeah, dude, his death was. I remember being there, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those moments where you're like, wait a second, no. What he did was he crawled inside that frog, and now he's gonna come out. All right, Jiraiya, I see you. You know what I mean? Like, we had 9,000 every excuse.
Did anyone feel at all like when Kakashi was gonna die that he was actually gonna die?
With a nail through the head, I was like, what?
Yeah. So y'all actually thought he was dead, like, because I talked to a lot of people about that, and it was like, oh, like they say it's the same thing that you were saying about Jiraiya, like he's gonna come back somehow. But it was like, if he does, it's kind of like, how the hell do you explain coming back from what he, you know, died from?
At first, I thought it was, but when he saw his, like, at first I was like, it's not. Holy shit, he just took an arrow through the head because he had to do some shit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I was so flabbergasted by the moment. Like, people will lie and be like, nah, I knew. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, holy shit, they took him out.
They finally they finally get some meaningful deaths in here.
Right? I'm saying this is what is needed. I was like, Jiraiya and Kakashi, ooh, the leaf is getting hurt. Exactly. Oh God, it's gonna be the Charlie Brown Christmas tree after this bitch. Good God.
I'm so tired. Yeah, man, that was some emotional stuff. But I'm glad. Well, I'm not actually especially glad that he survived, but I mean, it's cool to see him still in Boruto and all that.
Oh, sorry. I know this is kind of a sideways topic, but I got to mention it. I love the fact that Kishi made sure we all knew that Guy wasn't in town when that shit went down.
Exactly, because he showed out.
He'd have handled it. Gotta been like, oh, just 7? I got him.
Yeah, that's so true.
I might not even have to go Blue Beast for him or Red Beast.
I can hit. I can hit 5 or 6, get back with some udon. You keep that shit warm for me. I'll be right back. Right?
Exactly.
He was a god among men. Sorry, I want to talk about that sometime, but this is not that sometime. So let us get back.
I was gonna ask something though. Who y'all think is the second best sensei in Naruto?
Oh, I would actually probably say either Guy or Asuma.
I would go with. Damn.
Actually, fuck
it's
that.
Definitely Guy.
Duh,
It's definitely Guy. Hiruzen? Who's that?
Look at what all his look at the third Hokage, bro. Look what all his students came to be. We got Orochimaru. He's still alive in Boruto, fucking shit up. We got Jiraiya. Rest in peace. We got Tsunade. She's still alive in Boruto, fucking shit up. All three of them could have been Kages. They were all legends in their own right. They all had, they were all great and guided by this one single force, and that was.
Yeah, but it was like more. This is more of a question of who's like the better, not like who, because I feel like they would have been good no matter who trained them. They probably would have been as good. Like he definitely gave them some unlocked potential boosts, but they would have been good regardless. So it was just like who had the better?
Yeah, who had the better? Like,
so I feel like Guy was, because they were damn near father and son. Like half Naruto, I thought that was his dad. That's how close they were.
Yeah,
he taught him life lessons. He taught him how to deal with a lot of shit.
That's true.
Like, Lee almost gave up on everything, and Guy was like, "Hell nah, you gonna punch and kick the shit out of these giant beasts? Like, I don't care what you say." So that's some inspirational stuff. And when he dropped them weights, that was the greatest.
That is always the most intense. That is always like one of those moments.
Yeah, man, I love that shit. I'll watch it to this day, the whole thing, and just be amazed every time.
It is one of the best fights in Naruto to date. But the way it came about was so unexpected. It was like somebody slid an ace from up their sleeve into your hand, and you're like, "Oh shit!"
I'm telling you, and it was it had everything too. It had emotion out the ass because of what we knew Rock Lee went through, and everyone was like shining on him. And he came through and showed them that Taijutsu could do some crazy shit, and then it was shown in a great way, bro.
Dude, it was
not a lot of stuff can beat that fight,
right? And oh my god, and just the way I will admit this, the way Guy showed up at the end, he just slapped the sand away, and he's like, "No, we're done here."
Everybody came in earlier, but now I'm stopping it.
Yeah, right. It's like everybody's like, well, we can't even stop him if he decides to murder that kid and go 7. Like, let's just be real.
True. Well, I mean, Guy could. Who all in that room could
what
stop
I mean
the
is,
beast?
that's what I mean. If Gaara had killed Rock.
Oh, yeah, we went 7 gates and kind of ended his life.
He would have just straight murdered Gaara. Like, the whole Chunin arc would have just ended there. Like, we have to cancel the whole. We gotta cancel the whole thing now. We had a Jonin go berserk. He took out 15 motherfuckers.
Exactly. Everyone in the sand is
everybody in the sand
now.
Is dead, right?
They're all cremated.
He kicked a hole through all of them with one eyelash. You fucking heard me. Jesus. He kicked them with his eyelashes.
Yeah, that's
that is the greatest sensei. Well, the second greatest.
Yeah. So who you think?
But I have to say, whoa. We talked. Let me get my point for Asuma though. Like we talked a lot about, but Asuma is a different kind of teacher. Like this is again. It's the student that matters in this. Like you said it before, and in every case, that's very much because, I mean, look at 1010.
I don't want to.
She's my favorite female, but I will use that as an example. Please look at 1010.
Hey, what's up, Steve-O? Hey, what's up, bro?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's happening?
But as opposed to, I mean, even Ino now, she's the head of the division. Choji's out here doing like crazy shit. Like full on Jonin status, like he's really, really doing stuff.
I feel like Choji's little thing was way overdue. Like he should have got that.
Oh my god, he could.
He had his come up and he fell off the map after that, which was ridiculous.
Yeah, like he was just afraid to use it for a little while after that because of how much. Like I'd be like, no. I'm gonna use it a bunch. I'm gonna get used to the pain. I'm gonna fuck it up, I'm gonna increase my name. I'm getting this shit done.
He should have went the Rock Lee route. When Rock Lee found out he could do the drunk thing, and the guy was like, "We just gonna practice on a boat and shit," which was like, it's funny because it worked the opposite for him. Like, I think it upped his tolerance, but made it the actual technique worse. But at the same time, if Choji did that, he would have been like up there.
Yeah,
and
so
I mean, you know,
what side? Which one you think is the best sensei?
You talking about from between Iroh and Jiraiya, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd go with Iroh.
Nah, man. Was it a 3-0 now?
God damn, yeah.
Oh, everybody said Iroh?
Yeah, man. Iroh is that
also,
nigga.
All right. Just to be fair, because I said I would do this, I gotta jump on the Jiraiya side now. The amount of time we had with Jiraiya compared to the amount of time we had with fucking whatchamacallit, with Iroh.
Iroh was in it for a minute.
Yeah, is almost minuscule. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, a lot of the time with Jiraiya was spent during a time skip. You know what I mean?
He wasn't even training Naruto.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like a lot of the training we get is very cursory and stuff like that. So it's easy to say that Iroh is the better teacher because we have more examples of him being a great teacher, an amazing mentor, an absolutely like fundamental building block of greatness that Zuko became. You know what I mean?
I feel like Iroh was a bigger force for Zuko than Jiraiya was for Naruto. And Naruto had so many people influence him that was like kind of bigger. Iroh was like Zuko's main guy.
Now, what can you say the same for Pain or Nagato?
No,
because his driving force was the prophecy that Jiraiya told him. Remember that. The prophecy that Jiraiya told him about the one student that he would have that would be great, blah, 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 change everything, guided him through a lot of his shit. So the words of Jiraiya kept Pain going and turned Nagato, or whatever the fuck his name is, I can't remember right now, into Pain and did all that shit.
Well, I mean, when we count that against Jiraiya, though?
Great is great. Just because it's not good doesn't mean it isn't great.
That's a true statement.
All right. I'm gonna quote Oleander: "Great but terrible, but still great." You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, I'm with it.
Yeah, freaking yeah, man, Jiraiya. I mean, he trained a guy who basically made a book. You know,
I'm so tired.
The dude made a book because of him and named his son after. No, my bad. Yeah, Jiraiya made a book. And then his mentor had liked him as a sensei so much that he named his Naruto after the character. He named his son after the character in the book.
Yo.
Yo, man.
I don't know if anything can top that Soldier Boy commercial home though. That's a single.
Oh, yeah, guys. What exactly did I miss?
You're talking about the best sensei in anime, Iroh or Jiraiya?
Yeah, no, I get that for the most part. I was saying, like, what? How much?
It's 3-0 basically for Iroh. Everyone's just like Iroh's that dude.
Jiraiya, man.
It's hard to just.
I'm about to say Iroh myself, but you know.
See, 4-0.
I'm going Iroh too.
God
damn, landslide. So I'm guessing Z-Boy, you're for Jiraiya.
No, actually, I think Iroh is better, but I just because so many people pick Iroh. I expected many people to pick Iroh, but I can't think of any other sensei that matches up to Iroh. So
I definitely can. The dude from Assassination Classroom.
Iroh would like 16 and tell you everything wrong with you, and then
exactly, and then trying to help you fix it.
Exactly.
Not just break you down, but give you the blocks to build yourself up. Which is
on a spiritual level, even beyond what you're doing, then he'll be like, "You look, the shit's not hidden because you not hidden." He'll be like, "You know what I'm saying? You ain't right with yourself, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
You have not aligned with who you are."
Only as strong as the most passionate of members.
Right?
What
Like,
sold
oh
me
god.
on Iroh
That man
was
got
when
quotables
Zuko
for
came to a
centuries.
crossroads, and then Iroh was like, "Please, Prince Zuko, I'm begging you."
Yo,
Like, damn, I ain't
golly.
never seen this nigga show so
Dude,
much emotion.
that you can't even say that scene didn't touch you. That you wished for even one goddamn minute in your life you had somebody that cared about you enough to beg you to be better. Like that's fucking beautiful. Like
It
I don't
got
know, maybe
me
I just
because
think different. Maybe
I
I
knew
think
he had
different,
never
but
shown so much animation before that, and it
Yeah,
just showed
right?
how much he cared for Zuko,
and I knew
Because he
Iroh
tried
was
to
a real
remain
when
that distant.
and he was
When he-
right.
when he was basically ready to break out, when he was training to get ready to break out that prison.
Oh, when he got swole on
You
him.
got that swole up?
Yeah,
I'll tell you something.
Swole
Even
like
before,
Cookie Williams.
Yeah,
before
come
all
on.
of that, I just remember, like, even before all of that, when Zuko had that Agni Kai, I don't know why it's called that, with Zhao. And then, fucking, after Zhao lost, Iroh came in, he was like, oh, the great Admiral Zhao would attack a boy behind his back. Disgraceful. And I was like, yo, this nigga is wrong.
Oh yeah,
Tell you
dude, he
how
was
it
for
is.
real about it. He's like, you may have won, but you still a bitch. Like, come on now. And
Yeah, I
that's
wrote
basically
about
what
it.
he said in very polite Fire Nation talk. Like, you may have won, but you know you a bitch, right? And the dude had to eat it too. He was like, fucking, yep, whatever.
And then he went to the spirit realm and became one with the spirits and shit.
But,
Like,
oh my god. That shit,
Star
he
Wars.
transcended. He Qui-Gon
Force
Jinn that
Ghost.
shit. He
huh,
Qui-Gon
bro.
Jinn that shit. He became one with the living spirit. Like,
Iroh,
you know,
Iroh is the real
ready.
Obi-Wan.
Bro, Iroh is like, Iroh's just too much, bro. This wasn't in fair. And this is nothing bad on Jiraiya, though. I like Jiraiya. It's just, Iroh
Yeah,
is like,
Jiraiya out here too.
Jiraiya is
but-
a great sensei, but
Mhm.
I think Iroh just
Again.
too much.
Like I said, I was here to make sure everybody was respectful, but the truth is, it's hard not to. Yeah, it's hard not to. It's hard not to talk about how much better Iroh is, and even while elevating Jiraiya, you still feel like you got to put that distance because Iroh's done so much, and you're not like, all right, Jiraiya, you're on this level, but Iroh, he begged for life. You didn't do that shit. You made it beg for your life, but
The
not
thing
for
is, we
somebody
saw-
else's.
The thing is, we also saw Naruto amongst a couple other people, you know. So
Yeah,
like,
this stage, yeah.
yeah, and so with Iroh, he was there from Iroh kept it real from the jump. You know what I'm saying? Iroh's been there from Jump Street, and then even to the point where he was rolling with Toph. You know, like
True.
that boy.
I'm
that
teaching
man-
everybody about getting these
Fucking
lessons.
everybody come under this wing. Yeah,
It's crazy because he affected so many people throughout the story, even the people that he barely had time with. And the thing that really sets him apart from most senseis is that he was a constant. He was always there. It's like we saw so much of him compared to the typical anime sensei.
Yeah,
Like Rayleigh, we hardly see Rayleigh. The only person who actually had as much screen time that I can think of is like Kakashi.
Yeah, because
Or,
that's the biggest part of his character, is being a sensei. That's pretty much his character, of being like a helpful hand, because it adds depth to him too. And the fact that he's trying to redeem Zuko, because I don't think he was evil, but he seemed to kind of have been a bad guy, like how we seen the flashback, like when he was laughing about taking down Boss Sensei.
Oh yeah, he was
he
terrible.
was. Yeah,
Yeah, he was a menace in his heyday.
Yeah, and I think he just slowly became. I feel like he just slowly became like a little bit more like at peace over time, and then it got to the point where he was just kind of like carrying out orders. Where it was just like he's not so bad of a guy anymore, but fuck it, he's already doing it.
It was his son that changed him.
Yeah.
Losing his son.
Yeah, honestly, and I was going to mention that moment where he sings, little soldier boy come
Oh
home.
boy, Jesus!
Like, hey, we can all cry. It's okay. We can take a moment. Ain't nothing wrong
That
with
gets
it.
me every time.
Everybody take a knee.
Right?
Me second.
It got me before, all right, but after I had my son, that's just like a kick in the feelings dick. Like, it's just like, I'm okay.
Your feelings,
But,
dick.
yeah, the dick of my feelings.
If his feelings
Dick of his feelings. That's
But yeah, but Jiraiya doesn't have moments like that solidify him as someone. Like, he has moments where he expresses his loss, and I wish I did better by my students, and da-da-da-da-da. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm not saying he doesn't. It's just nothing he does ever ever sticks out on that level, except for him dying. Except for him dying. You know what I mean? Like, that's the closest emotional response you really get out of Jiraiya, because a lot of times they use him as a gag character. Like, and that's one of the things that's kind of creating this dissonance, because Iroh was always Iroh. He was always that slow talking wisdom. Yeah. But this dude was the pervy strange looking at titties and like trying to get some poon all the damn time. Yeah, with honor, though, he didn't fuck that Genjutsu woman. We got to put that in the record. Because, like, he's a horn dog, and he's like, no, she was Genjutsu. That's not my style. If I'm going to pay for it, I'm going to pay for it. If I'm going to get it, I'm going to earn it. Not like this, damn it.
You know, I think that'd be attributed towards the and, like, damn, I don't know how to say this without sounding like I'm hating on Naruto, because I love Naruto, but, like,
the quality
the way the story of Naruto is written, it's very hard to evoke an emotional response from most of the stuff that happens.
Yeah, because it's very fair.
What I mean by that is, like, it's not the reality of what's happening. It's just like Sasuke's entire family got genocided. How many people cried when they saw that happen? It's like it's just the way the story. It's very hard to be like, wow, man, this is sad, because it's not really trying to be sad. It's trying to let you know. So this happened next. This happened. It's
kind of like Naruto is an action adventure, and then Airbender's more of a drama with action adventure elements in it. And with Naruto's action adventure with drama elements in it.
In that
which is very accurate. Sorry.
Yeah. I was just saying in that comparison, there's no, there was just no emotional ties. Like you said, there was just kind of like, there was a lot of buildup with Iroh before, that kind of happened. Now, if we would have opened up Airbender with that, it probably would have been deep, but it probably wouldn't have been as deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It depends on the
context. Think if they
Jiraiya was always there when he needed to be there. Like when he told Naruto, even though Naruto didn't listen to him, he was like, yeah, bro, you might want to stop chasing the Sasuke dude, bro. He dropped you off a cliff on your head. I don't really think he'll.
That's not true. Whoa. that's I don't feel like that's a true statement, because Jiraiya doesn't show up until like the fucking shooting exams.
Yeah, now do you guys feel
you know what I mean?
Well,
like, there was a lot before that.
Where was him when his dad died?
Multiple mentors, of course, but keep in mind, Naruto does have multiple mentors. Kakashi, Iruka, etc. But it's also the fact that he spent 3 years in solitude with Jiraiya, so that's definitely good sensei.
Now, do you guys feel like the way they were treated by the pupils makes them kind of different too? Because Jiraiya was kind of always kind of like, he did give good tips, but he was shrugged off because he was the pervy sage. When it comes to Iroh, he was always dropping dimes, but Zuko would just be like, nigga, you're old, I'm not listening to you.
Right? That does matter. We was talking about earlier, like, would
the student matters
Iroh
a
have
lot.
been able to redeem Sasuke or not?
That's a good question.
Basically, Jiraiya taught Naruto how to redeem Sasuke pretty much.
Yeah, because Naruto was the person he was more receptible. I don't know if Jiraiya's would have done anything for Sasuke.
Well, I think nobody but Naruto could have redeemed Sasuke, because that's how Naruto was written. But to that being stated, if Iroh would overall be a better teacher for the most part, I think it will be. But there's also the element of like, that was still Zuko's uncle, so there's a certain level of respect Naruto he had, as opposed to like Naruto or Jiraiya. This is just an old dude who kidnapped you and telling you what to do. At some level, you go like, man, fuck off. I'm about to it's like on some point. So I think if the student would be as receptive to their teacher as much as they think they should care about their teacher, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
So who y'all think are some other great senseis in fiction?
Koro Sensei from Assassination Classroom.
Oh yeah, Genkai. Genkai. I forgot all about Genkai. Yeah,
Genkai
is one of the best, hands down.
Genkai was raw.
Genkai is hands down one of the best senseis ever written. He's simultaneously distant and emotionally like attached. It's like perfect. It's ridiculous.
Reborn was a dope ass
wall of crap.
Reborn was kind of an asshole. I mean, the only way he trained Suna was by shooting him.
Right?
Well,
he got the
No. Well, here's the thing about Reborn as being a mentor. Reborn was good because Suna was supposed to be good. Apparently, that's my take from reading the series so far. Keep in mind, I got like one arc left. But everything I've seen Reborn say about Suna, now Suna's gonna do this, and Suna's gonna do that. I'm never going to step in and interfere, but this will happen because I got faith in Suna. Then Suna does it. How is that teaching? That's just like Suna just does what you predict he would do.
Well, I mean, he guided him a lot of the way. Like, Suna didn't have answers for a lot of things.
I just finished watching them beat like Damian Spade, so I've been reading Hitman for weeks now. Reborn does not teach Suna in the slightest.
Yeah,
I was thinking of watching.
He doesn't teach him. He's more of a motivator because Suna doesn't believe in himself in the slightest for a long time.
And Reborn's like, no, bro, you got this. You can do this. Go ahead, go do it. Then Suna does it. I'm like, okay, that's not teaching. That's like you.
I feel like it's a big factor in being a teacher, though.
I mean, he drops hints. He just doesn't spoon feed him because he's like, hey, do this. And it could mean so many things.
Well, he doesn't even like take him and train him outside. He doesn't like
he does train him. He takes him outside and he shoots him and he's like dodges his bullet. And eventually he dodges the
You
bullet.
also have to keep in mind, Suna wasn't the only person he undertook as a pupil.
He had like 10 niggas just
he helped Dino. I believe he helped Ryohei along the path at some point.
No,
he directly.
That's what I was
saying. He spends a lot more time with Ryohei and Yamamoto than he does.
Yeah, I was just about to say Yamamoto. He directly trained Yamamoto for like
he spends a lot more time with Yamamoto and Ryohei. He just like when it comes to Suna, he just knows Suna would do what he thinks he can do.
That's part of being a teacher, though. Like, you can't teach everyone the same way. Like, he taught Yamamoto, like, step by step.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is he's actively teaching Yamamoto and Ryohei. He actively does it. With Suna, he feels like he almost feels like he doesn't need to teach Suna because he just has so much faith in Suna. Suna's just going to do the thing he thinks Suna would do. It happens so much. It's like, and he's just like, why are you underestimating a student? Well, nigga, why aren't you underestimating your student? Like,
because Suna's the type of person that if you just kind of give him everything, he'll go along with it, but he won't get anything out of it. He has that natural talent, but he doesn't know how to use it. He does the best method, which is like, you got to do it yourself. I can't teach you everything. You know what I'm saying? I can't give you everything because you won't get anything out of it. That's the kind of person Suna is. And for Hitman or Reborn to see that and teach upon that almost instantly, that's a really good teacher because he knows how to teach each and every one of those people. They'd all be dead if it wasn't him, you know.
Grandpa Gohan also was a good sensei too.
Yeah, Grandpa Gohan definitely gets that mention. I think I said that earlier.
He didn't even teach Goku what a woman was.
No, he kind of taught Goku around kind of his ideas. That's why I think he's better than Master Roshi as
what a woman was. You gotta understand that. On the front, he didn't even teach Goku what a woman was.
Goku was like 8.
Master Roshi.
He doesn't need to know what a woman is at 8 years old. That's just a fucking.
He
lives in a forest.
Keep in mind also.
You should be aware of their existence.
Keep in mind, I'm a decade older than everybody.
You should know
for me, it was Thundercats.
You should be aware. You should be okay. But you understood some of the Thundercats were female.
I did understand Chitara.
You understood Shiro was not a man.
You know what them titties was.
I know what them titties was.
You can see the titties.
And Goku
but I also didn't live in a world.
They shrink up.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but I also didn't live in a
Mama was the first female Goku ever met, but he clearly met female human. He clearly met female animal species. And what I'm saying is, Goku had no concept of what a female was.
Like the opposite of a male. It's ridiculous.
Yo, Trent, what were you saying, bro?
I was just saying, you know, kind of to the point of, I don't know who was saying that, but, you know, he did live on a mountain. Like, I get the question of how, but kind of not really, because, you know, if you're not exposed to it and you never, you know, if Grandpa Gohan hadn't seen, you know, first of all, he's fucking old as fuck, so he hadn't even, you know, he hadn't talked about his little shorty probably in Hellas. You know what I'm saying? So if they just, you know, you know, he's probably, you know, making
there's biology books. There's
you had no book.
And there's biology. You could have Goku to the city one day. You could have. Like,
keep in mind, Goku had, you know, to turn into a grade 8.
He did
not in the middle of broad daylight. Not in the middle of broad daylight.
No, but he did have a tail. That was weird.
He didn't know. He didn't know.
They have a tail. Their dog is a mayor. I mean, their mayor is a dog just walking dinosaurs. What are you talking about? What's the argument here?
Okay, I'll actually give you that one. That's super fucking fair. The mayor's a dog? What the fuck? The mayor's a dog. I'm like, you know what?
The argument
when he's right, he's right.
You know what I'm saying? So he didn't know, like, that he didn't know about that it was only, like, originally there was only moonlight. You know what I'm saying? So it would be like, why risk putting him out in the city and something bad can happen, especially when the nigga could take.
Well, actually, that doesn't make any sense because Gohan never knew Goku had a tail to the day he died. I mean, the tail a monkey until the day he died. That's totally irrelevant. Like
No, he knew he had a tail when he found him. Wasn't he?
No, I mean, he didn't know that the tail turns him into an Ozu.
Oh, yeah.
He died. That was irrelevant. For like the first 6 years of Goku's life, that was a non-factor.
He didn't know he was abnormally strong though.
Big facts.
Okay, take him to the city. There's dinosaurs. There's.
Have you never seen? Whoa! Have you never seen the beginning of Hercules? Right, when he goes to town and then ruins everything by being stronger than everything.
I could see Goku.
Yeah,
but Goku was never shown to be abruptly destructive, though.
No, he wasn't. Actually, he was very careful. Actually, he was more agile, like a monkey.
Grandpa Gohan would have been stronger than him, right? So if he does get a bit,
definitely
be able to stop him.
Definitely. What I'm saying is, Gohan never took him to the city. He never took him. Let's go get some fucking fish from the market, Goku, so you can see what the fucking female is. No.
Why would he go to the market when he catches like 5,000-pound fish out of the river?
Want the little boy to know what the fuck a female is.
Not even just the concept of a female. You would want him to understand what the world is like. Period.
Man, maybe
like,
honestly,
I doubt that Goku
You might expect Goku to live in the woods.
The concept of gender should have been introduced. Like, there's no arguing that.
Yeah. Some other good ones. Piccolo. Apparently, Core Sensei. Uncle Ben. Hey, Uncle Ben.
Yo,
wait, what? The rice dude?
Uncle, stop. Uncle Ben was that dude.
About Peter Parker. Peter Parker's the
Oh,
Uncle Ben, yes, most certainly, yes, Uncle Ben, yes.
I'm so sorry.
Since we going this route, I'm also saying, what's his name, Max Tennyson, Ben Tatum's grandpa.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Grandpa Max.
Low-key, if you said Uncle Ben, I was thinking of him.
Oh, Grandpa from Jackie Chan Adventures.
Uncle
One
Jackie Adventures.
Jackie.
That dude was amazing.
Yeah. But also because he wasn't full of shit. Like, only magic can defeat magic. Like, what are you guys doing?
I think you need to turn up your mic, bro, or something.
You said what?
Now you need to turn up your sound.
Who, me?
Yeah, I could hardly hear you. I thought it was only me.
Oh, bad. No, my bad. Can you guys hear me a little better now? It's you guys in my headphones.
I think that should be good.
Yeah.
All right. I was just saying, do you really count him as a sensei? Because he was more like a fail-safe, you know?
Who? Uncle? Yeah, Uncle was like a fail-safe, wasn't he? He just low-dipped everybody. He was like low-dipped everybody, didn't he?
He was like the Megazord. He came out at the end of every episode and fucked shit up.
And then when it was magic shit, they was like, okay, we got to get Uncle. You know what I'm saying? Jackie got hands.
Jackie never tried to learn any of that shit. He was like, I'm going to fight you and let Uncle do it.
That's because wasn't the joke that Jackie still somehow didn't believe in the shit?
Yeah.
Kinda. Like
because he's an archaeologist, he believes in science.
He didn't let it explain everything.
Dragon men and chicks turning invisible and stones giving people superpowers. He's like, yeah, no, this isn't magic. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. This is bullshit. This is science.
Since we listen to greatest mentors of all time, let's say Coach Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson?
I can't. That's a factual ass statement. God damn.
Ain't nobody probably died about this, but Ash is a sensei.
No, what? Ash is an animal abuser.
Hey, for Pikachu.
Whoa.
He's an animal.
Shut your fucking whore mouth, sir.
He's an animal.
Shut your whore mouth. We don't do the Pokemon slander around this guy.
Listen, he threw his tiny little yellow rat in the ring with a giant rock snake and said, go fight it. Fuck him.
He did it twice.
Right? And it won half the time.
He said, I'm going to get you more electricity and hopefully this works. I'm going to do it twice.
There are better senseis in Pokemon than Ash because Ash never really won.
Oh, yeah.
Right, like
Gary or Professor Oak. Fucking come on.
Wouldn't the Pokemon Master be the ultimate sensei in that show? Like whoever the Pokemon Master is? That random ass title. That random title that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, right. It doesn't exist until you attain it, and then it's the guy, and then you gotta steal it from the dude before you for no reason because he's your best friend that you grew up with. You both had the same dream. Now he finally achieved it, and you're like, "Hey, fuck you! It's mine now. You got it for 4 fucking seconds. I hope it tastes sweet because I'm gonna take it home and fuck it."
Here's the one thing I learned about titles. You know, once we hear forever that this one guy is like the greatest swordsman alive, and you say this other guy is the sword god, I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like, what is that? Like, what is
So you in the camp that believes Sword God is better than greatest swordsman in the world?
Sword God?
I get it. I agree too.
I think it's like bread.
That's Sword God of
I think it's
Wano,
like bread.
though.
Some people
not the
call
whole
bread
world.
pita.
No, I'm not
Some
talking
people
about like
call
I'm talking
bread
about his
naan.
actual. I'm pretty sure Mihawk's a better swordsman than Ryuma. That might be an unpopular opinion, but what I'm saying is like, it's just the title sounds way more. I get it's only over Wano,
That's
like, and Mihawk is like the world. But what I'm saying is, even if it's just of Wano, you're the sword god. I was like, it's an island of swordsmen.
To be a sword god.
Yeah.
It's an island of it's a country full of swordsmen, and they called you the sword god. I'm like, wait, that beats the shit out of Mihawk's title, man. What are we doing here?
Yeah. I was saying in reality that should be a better title.
Hey, one of the if we want to talk about worst senseis, one of the worst senseis has to be Mr. Krabs. Or Mrs. Puff.
No, hold on, wait a minute, hold on, stop that. Don't do that slander. Mr. Krabs is one of my role models. He's an idol. He's an inspiration. You should look to him for guidance and advice. Mr. Krabs will not lead you wrong on nothing. That nigga know how to make money.
I looked up to him for something wrong, bro.
Mrs.
Puff sucks too, right? Mrs. Puff sucks too. If we talking about her as a sensei because SpongeBob took the test.
No, SpongeBob is deficient.
Like
Mrs. Puff is a great teacher. Mr. SpongeBob is deficient. Mrs. Puff is a great teacher, bro. It's like, yeah, she's the patience of a saint, bro.
There's no way.
When she gets high blood pressure, she gets fat. Like, you gotta understand.
Nigga, man.
Look, we talking about bad mentors.
Yeah.
The Superman bitch ass need to be on this list because that nigga don't do shit for his children.
What you mean, Batman?
Ooh,
Superman?
if we're talking about good ones, I'm going with Alfred.
Bruce is an amazing mentor to all of the bad girls and the Robins.
You mean the 12-year-old children he takes off the street? Stop.
Whoa. Some 12-year-old children would love to be taken off the street into the arms of a billionaire that's not going to fuck them. All right?
Who's going to turn you into a ninja?
With a crowbar in the snow.
He's going to turn you into a ninja.
All of those kids do develop emotionally.
I can't lie. I would love to be a ninja.
Hold on, Vulture. What you said, Trent?
I just said all of those kids do develop emotional issues later on.
Right.
But they were orphans.
But they became ninja. That's a good trade-off, no matter how you look at it. Like, you
can't deny that.
I'm going to tell you right now, when I was 12 years old, as an orphan, you could have told me there was an 80% chance I'd die in the snow from a crowbar beating from a psychopath, and I still would have signed the fuck up. I'll tell you that right the fuck now. Right? Like, I was like, shit, I get a mansion and a ninja and a butler? Yo, that dude's not going to know what work is when I get there. I'll tell you.
Look, I would value if you tell me as a 12-year-old, no, I'm just saying, bro, if you tell me as a 12-year-old, you're going to take me away to a rich man's house, and he's going to teach me how to disassemble a room full of like 20 people with guns and swords and shit.
Right? Exactly.
Teach me. Please teach me. Please. Do it right now.
But I mean, 12-year-olds also want to eat ice cream for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's not a good idea. So, I mean, speaking from a 12-year-old perspective may not be the best way to go about it. That's all I'm saying.
Speaking as an adult, maybe it's not the best.
Yeah, like think about Rob Downey Jr. actually training people in his basement that he found on the street.
Oh, when I go with Robert Downey Jr. and he just wanted to train me and not tell anybody, I know it's kind of sketchy.
All the Iron Man money just starts training people in the basement. They would go arrested.
No, see, here's the thing. It wouldn't even be him. It'd be Elon Musk. You know what I mean? It'd be like this. It'd be Elon Musk just picking out orphans. Like, you're going to learn bionics.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah, he's definitely
Oh wow.
a Bruce Wayne kind of guy.
Yeah, like, and they're like,
Man,
well, you can't go outside.
Elon Musk is too busy doing acid and drilling tunnels and building spaceships to be worrying about it.
His kid, 12-year-old kid.
That's what he wants you to think. Everybody thinks Bruce Wayne's too busy doing exactly what you just said. And fucking every horror.
Dude, you know how many projects Elon Musk is running on a day-to-day? That man has no time. That dude has like probably, I don't know. He did a whole podcast and smoked a blunt, so maybe he do got time. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Apparently, he got
that podcast. He was chilling like a fellow. He was like, "Yep, whatever." He wasn't in a rush. He wasn't like, "Oh, I got some shit to do. I am Elon Musk." You know what I mean? He was just like, "What's up, buddy?"
Yeah.
He got work.
So, yeah.
Oh,
got people that work for him.
Say what you got to say, man.
No, I was just saying he got people that work for him. The nigga ain't busy.
Right?
Yeah,
I'm saying. He's got his name on a lot of shit going down now.
that's delegation. That's what that is. That's delegation
Right?
right there.
His delegatory skills are off the chart.
Oh, you know what? The number one sensei of all time is Master Fong from Shaolin Showdown. I just thought about that.
Oh
I
my
was thinking
God.
that. I couldn't think of his name.
Good.
And actually, I disagree, but your name is still right. Let
Yeah,
me
because
finish.
it's really Master Splinter from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay,
That's another
that's a
one.
good one.
That's a
Some
good
of
one.
those
Fong from,
cheese on
anybody
it.
remember Fong from Reboot?
No. Was there a show?
I hate
What
how
about-
young y'all are, and I just
what
made
about-
myself feel real old.
Okay, what about old school from Get It?
Nope.
Damn, I saw how young I am.
Ooh,
That one.
what about Grandpa from Ed, Ed and Eddie? Not Ed, Ed and Eddie, sorry. Hey Arnold. I don't know how I got that.
Grandpa he did teach life lessons.
Right? Grandpa was real.
Yeah, but wasn't he also like insane?
His wife was insane. The grandma was insane.
Oh, okay. I thought they both were kind of nutty, and Arnold just dealt with it. He was a real G.
He was just old and always talking.
Yeah, man. So,
Honestly,
Yeah, his grandma was straight fucking insane, wasn't
Bruh.
Yeah, but she was dropping dimes, bro. She would drop she would say some shit. You'd be like, wait, is she actually referring to the situation?
But she was too
Yeah,
fatigued
she was-
from the line though, like all the time.
no, it was actually a very real and like masterfully done representation of like senile dementia. Like, let's just be like, the way that was portrayed is so fucking beautiful. Like from the standpoint of not only artistic, but the way that it's represented and how a child like sees it and deals with it in a way that's like not only like helpful, but like in a way that doesn't denigrate or like make light of the situation. You know,
You're
it's
right.
just it's very well done. And I would
And
end
then
it with the mention.
they made Grandpa better as a role model too, because he was dealing
Right?
with it
Yeah.
like, beautifully. Like he never
Exactly.
talked about it. He never talked bad about it. He was just at your grandma and just kept
Yep.
going.
Because
Yeah, so,
that's what love is right
to
there.
end it
That's your
off-
grandma. She punches beats in the park.
to end
What
it
about
off,
Sporty? My homie Sporty Kiss needs to be on the list. I'm just saying.
who?
He called her a couple of times, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm saying my nigga Sporty Kiss. You don't know, like
Sporticus.
Yeah.
Lazy
so-
Town.
fuck is
Nobody's
that?
lazy at Lazy Town. No. All right.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, is that the purple? Oh no, not the
And he's, like,
non-mustache
blue.
guy, right?
But he was a superhero, bro.
Hey, guys, I gotta get out of here.
Pretty much.
And he would convince everybody to exercise and eat healthy.
Oh fuck that dude! I'm done with him already.
Yo, so to end it
That
off,
nigga was real.
what do y'all think? To end it off, what do y'all think defies a sensei, and why do y'all think Iroh and Jiraiya are some of the best?
Ooh, I'll go last. I got this.
Oh, well, I guess what defines a sensei, it's somebody who, not necessarily because they have to, but because they want to help someone better themselves. You know, like, because no matter how you look at it, a real mentor, that's taking time out of that day that they don't really have to. And they're investing that time in the back end of their life into you. So it's kind of like, it's a weird metaphysical thing, but it's like they're kind of like passing that torch on to you, and they're deciding to give you their knowledge and everything. But it's also those senseis have that humility to them, because in their past they done fucked up and made mistakes. And, they just want to see somebody be better than them. It's something along that line. I don't know the word, but I'm trying to like bring it to thought. But it's just like that line of thinking. I think that's what makes it a good one. And Jiraiya and Iroh are dope because they embody that to me in a certain extent.
I think senseis are like great people who like it, especially in this example, Jiraiya and Iroh, because they both are masters of their trade and had like very high positions, and they could have tried to better themselves, kind of like Danzo. Like Danzo didn't really have a good connection with anybody. He taught people, but not to like make them Hokage or to help them with their children. He just wanted a stronger fighting force to better his own self. But Iroh, he was like, I'm going to dedicate my life to this kid because I messed up my own kid. And the same with Jiraiya. He had his own thing going on. So it was like someone who would take time out of their aspirations and dreams to help you reach something, that they might not even 100% see that you could do it, but they're like, I'm just going to give you the chance because I believe in you. And I think that's a great sensei, what that means.
Yeah, that.
It's that way.
Steve, you there, bro?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. You heard what I said, right?
You said final thoughts, right?
Basically, like, what do you think defies a sensei, and like, why Jiraiya and Iroh are some of the best? Pretty much. Well, you can have final thoughts on some that have just about senseis too.
Okay, well, to me, sensei is defined by how much impact you have on the people that you see as pupils towards you. So, like when we were talking about Reborn, how I think Reborn is a good example because, like, on the surface, it doesn't seem like he really does much, but when you're able to take a person, understand exactly what their deficiencies is, and the best way to attack those deficiencies, that's exactly what Reborn did with Suna. Is where he basically take a step back and he just tells Suna what he already knows about Suna and what Suna refuses to recognize about himself. So I feel like that's a good example of what a sensei is supposed to do, or what a sensei can do when they know how to teach. So,
yeah, I think senseis are basically, they don't have to be specifically like trainers, as in like in a shonen manga. They just like purposely teach you life lessons, and like Soul said, go out their way to teach you different things. And yeah, I think everybody needs some type of sensei in their life. You know, not completely taking the ideas of someone, because just because your parents may tell you how to do something doesn't mean you have to completely follow their ideas in life. But yeah. So Vulture, what you got, bro? Oh yeah, and shout out to the best senseis around, teachers. They don't get paid enough. So.
Coach Phil Jackson.
Big facts.
Yeah, I already went.
If I can,
oh my bad, my bad.
For me,
Vallen. My bad.
It's okay. I'll let you go because he was ready. But a sensei is many things and is really nothing if you think about it. A sensei can be anything as simple as a squirrel you see hiding away nuts for the winter. You know what I mean? Something that teaches you something that sticks with you is really the true point of a sensei. Whether it's a guidance through an entire life, like Iroh, who helped Zuko go straight from fucking teenage years to, adult years until he died. You know what I mean? Or there's the Jiraiya route where you're introduced into like almost the middle portion of someone's life, and you shape the man that they become in a different way, as more of a visceral leader, less of a spiritual leader. And the grandpas and the uncles and the fongs and the sifus, and all of these really encompass the desire in all of us to be led to our own personal greatness. And there are people around us that we each look up to as senseis, as, brothers, fathers, pastors, preachers, whatever, that we find this guidance from. And when we see people like Iroh and Jiraiya, as I said earlier, we see the people we wish we had. We see the drive we wish we had that somebody else put in us, instead of saying maybe, oh, you have such potential, what's wrong with you, you're wasting it. They actually put some effort into molding that potential. And that's what Jiraiya and Iroh represent. Not just telling somebody they have potential, but molding that potential into something worthwhile, meaningful, that actually grows them as a person.
Yeah, and that's exactly why Vulture ended off, because, not Vulture, bad. I keep asking Vallen. Vallen ended off because he gives great ending speeches. And yeah, check out all their channels, man. Please like, subscribe.
5 hours later.